till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go.
Welcome along, guys. It's finally here. It is round one of our Friday sprint series. Oh, after being a month and a bit off, I'm delighted to be back here in the Commons box this evening. It's going to be an absolutely thrilling race. 20 minutes of qualifying now. At the minute, we're on with our own driver, Mr. Andy Polycott. And yeah, really looking forward to this Watkins Glen 30 minutes of all-out hard racing. And it's the return of Maurice Boutin as well. Unfortunately, he's not in our supercharged delivery because the goose forgot to download it, but he's in the next best thing as well. So be interesting to see. There's an awful lot of Ferraris, as you can see on screen here this evening. We've got Florian Laroux there as well for EF Corsa. Then we have Clemente Lavaroni for M4R. We remember seeing them guys, of course. Our boy Dominic East in the Amigos Racing Team liveried McLaren here this evening, our good friends over in Amigos, and Dominic, a good friend of ours for quite a long time now. Then we've got Michelle Coco, new to our community as well. Welcome along. Then we have Giacomo Teresa. Right, I probably will get people's names wrong a little bit. And the return of Giuseppe Castellano from M4R Squadra Corsa. Great to see Giuseppe back in. We've seen him a few seasons ago in our Wednesday Championship. Then we've got Graham Kerr, a new face in with ourselves here in Supercharged, and a regular in Supercharged, Anthony Ferrante, then sitting there in his car. And then, of course, the madman Chris Tedder there in the Mercedes. Then we have Fabio Gerardi. They're really trying to mess with me here in his Ferrari, then for M4R as well. Andy Polycott and our boy Nathan Warren then in the Supercharged Motorsports McLaren. My partner in crime in the Amigos SRO series, and I think definitely a partner in crime in endurance going forward. Federico Ingrosso next. There's other people there. Chris Polycott's there. So Teresa is the first across the line. We'll jump into it now properly. So he has done there, it looks like 1 minute 44.620, and it'll be interesting to see how much he can improve there. Fastest sector times, first, second and third sectors are all held by the top three in different orders there as well. So that'll be interesting to see where the time can be gained. Obviously there's plenty of time in sector 1 for Teresa. He's losing 0.4 of a second to G Care in P3. Maurice Boutin then not too far off either. Let me see who we haven't been able to. Oh, Maurice Boutin goes on to provisional pole at 144.132 as we speak. Giuseppe Castellano nips up into P2 at 144.322. So definitely a lot of improvement going on here at the minute. Looking down further, a big improvement here coming from Coco. So it's down Michelle Coco or Michael either. So Michael next there, and he's definitely flying up there. So let's see, 1.2 seconds gaining on this lap at present. And of course, this is probably one of my favorite tracks to watch racing on, as I found out last week, or last Monday actually, in Amigos in the SRO. It's grand until you hit a few marbles. And Nathan can vouch for that one there as well. Then we have Benedict Malieski as well in the Aston Martin. I love seeing the Aston Martin. So do you know what? Fair play to you driving the Aston. You legend, you. That's what we love to see. We're going to jump back on with Coco. Where is he? There's Coco. Oh, he jumps up into P11. They must have had a bit of an error with that one, because he was over a massive amount of time. Giuseppe Castellano is improving on this lap, not enough just yet, but let's see how that goes. That can still change, although at the minute he's after gaining a nice bit of time out of that corner. Can he make up about another 10th in the next few corners? No, he's losing a bit of time there now. Can he gain it back? Tyre squealing on exit. He's after gaining a bit of time, but it's not enough. He's going to be less than 0.19. He's going to be 0.113. So, still a bit to be done there. Kerr improving as we speak as well. LaRouche improving as well. Can LaRouche jump ahead of Kerr provisionally? As he goes around the final corner, he's going to get a bit of a tow as well from one of the polycots, that is. So he's going to jump up ahead of Kerr for now, and possibly Roshi, which he does. He jumps up into P4. But I'm going to jump back on with Kerr, because Kerr is flying out there, 0.6 of a second. He's looking at the top 3 here, possibly top 2 or even provisional pole. He's absolutely flying along. So Graham doing a phenomenal job there. That's a lovely, that's such, you know, he uses an awful lot of that track as well, which I like. I was very cautious on Monday with it. He's using a lot more track than me, and you can see the time he's gaining. And look how smooth he is through there. Doesn't run too wide to get a bit of a loss of drive when you hit that kind of, oh, the beautiful lines here from this guy. Graham absolutely on it. Beautiful exit, 4th gear just on the end of it there, and up towards the line. Oh, he's going to be just under P2 he goes. Oh, it's so close between Castellano and Kerr. 0.105 for Kerr, 0.113 for Castellano there. Back further here, we've got Benedict just across the line. Anthony Ferrante, after losing the driver there, hopefully they can get back in. Anthony Ferrante there now is on his lap, but will be a few minutes. Andy Polycott's just started his lap. Alistair Wright, another great sight to see in here as well. And Alistair Wright is there in 15th at the minute in the Ferrari 296. And Alistair Wright's a driver I remember from the days of doing commentary on the first ACC community that I ever commentated on, and I've seen him in other places since. So good to see him on the grid. Morris Booton behind him there. Alistair gets out of that, but doesn't need to be that generous, but fair play to him, because Morris is only going to start his lap now. Christian now for M4, slight improvement but not enough. Needs to really find a good bit of time. He's not finding it at the minute. So Morris Booton is pretty much where he's even. Stevens pretty much with himself at the minute. Oh, runs wide. You could just tell that was going to happen, unfortunately. So yeah, straight back to the pits. And we see a bit of a fight coming out of the pits there for the OST teams 2024. So that's Ingrosso and Coco for them. Nathan Moore on our own driver. Let's go on with a lap for himself. My good friend. Of course, that is livery is my own creation for a community. Very proud of it. We done the change actually only about a month ago, and I think it was a change for the better. That delivery really stands out compared to our last one, and I just love seeing the contrast in people's deliveries. And some of the M4R cars need to be added in. I can see that this evening. I did sync my awesome beforehand. Is it Chris Tedder? No, Chris Tedder's in there in the Mercedes sitting in P9 at the minute. So Alistair Wright's not improving. Andy Polycott's improving a little bit there as well. We'll keep an eye on that one there. Go on, Andy, give it socks. Oh, I probably told you to give it socks at the wrong time. Can't park there, mate. Fair play to you. You'll probably go back to the pits, get another set of tyres on and go again. We'll go on with Alistair Wright as he's going to prepare for his lap. Fokker just on the exit as well. So let's see what Alistair Wright can do. Down into turn 1. He's not improved yet, but sure, then again, could be the middle part of the track that he does. Anthony Ferrante is improving. Morris on a lap. only started it. No one's actually really improving at the minute. It seems possibly might be a little bit too hot out there for some of the drivers in terms of getting the limit, although Nathan Warren's starting to improve and he loses it there. Just to jump on, Dominic Geese can start a lap with down with the Amigos. Team driver, hashtag traitor to Untalented Motorsport, but I love him using the Untalented Motorsport number though, which I like. For anyone who knows Dominic, at least there's that. And I do know Dominic was actually meant to be in the Lamborghini. That'll be amended for next week. He chose the wrong car, but unfortunately told me just a little bit too late in the day. Sparky, how are you doing? I hope you're keeping well, mate. How is life with yourself? Any crack? So, still on with Dominic Geese. That's an invalidated lap for him. Anthony Ferrante on a lap, but not improving this time round. Fabio Gilhardi not improving either, but that doesn't mean anything. They can still go again. There's still 7 minutes left in qualifying. The qualifying is nearly as long as the race, but at least it gives you the best possible chance. That's lovely stuff. Now, let me see. Is Tedder out there? I'm going to jump on board with him because I absolutely love the noise out of this car. Chris doing a nice bit of warm-up there as well. It's just such an angry sounding car, this. And I was talking to Chris before the race. His aim this season is to be as fast in the Mercedes as he is in the McLaren. Now, I think that's a bit of a hard feat as he goes to start a lap there now. 4th gear on the exit. I feel that was a little bit of a short shift in the mark, but then again, I could be absolutely wrong. Definitely feels like that was a short shift there, but into T1 he goes. Looking back further, so Anthony Ferrante in the pits, Alistair Rice in the pits, Madashki's in the pits, everybody else is out. So only 3 people in the pits, and the rest are out there now. I know there's a button, there we go. No, have it as the correct one. Show you kind of the splits there, so I don't need to be saying them every 2 minutes, so you know the gap. So it's really tight there. The top 8 covered by less than a second at the minute. I'm sure Chris will want to be doing something about that. He is up a bit of time at the minute. Oh, he just carries just enough. You don't want to run too wide in that curb. I've died there in the past. This is where I had my big dying moment. Go near them marbles on the outside, have a lapse at all, and they will absolutely murder you. Gee, Sparky, very sorry to hear, mate. That's tough to hear, but look, RIP to your dad, and I hope you and your family are well. Wishing you all the best. Yeah, never nice to hear that. But look, I hope you and your family are doing well, mate. And we'll dedicate this stream to your dad. Yeah, it is a strong field, Sparky, as well. You are right. And we are actually missing a few drivers. There's 27 signed up, so we are missing a few tonight. Well, there's a few more late joiners as well, so we are missing essentially 10 to 12 drivers for this race. Chris Tedder moves himself up into P6 while we're chatting away there. So looking back further, Chris Pollycott's on a lap. And he is improving, and though his good friend Nathan Warren's all supercharged, and Andy Pollycott as well. All in a bit of a row there. So Chris Tedder's improving again. Castellano slightly improving, but Castellano dropped down to 4th now with Florian Lacroix going into P3. Then Graham Kerr in P2. And our very own Morris is in P1, of course. The Supercharged Motorsport livery will be loaded on for next week. He forgot to download it before the race. Of course, Morris, if you are very well established with our community, he is a Supercharged Motorsports racing team driver. Also, he races in the community. He was out with a shoulder operation, and it's great to see him back in the car now. And this is first time back racing in about, I'm pretty sure, maybe 2-3 months. So delighted to see him back in the car and racing. He missed all of last season and he was itching to get going, so it's good to see that back. Yeah, it's going to be a good race to get closer. So obviously when there's more drivers in, so the 12 are missing, you'd probably see down to like P20 would be a second, and then down could be, just, it obviously depends on the pace, could be a little bit more spread as you see here. But normally when you do have the fuller grids in, it is actually normally massively close. So we're going to jump back on now. So Kerr is actually improving. And this is a possible provisional pole, and keeping an eye on the other times that are improving. We're down to the last 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Of course, you are able to cross the line before the timer and get another lap in. And then there's going to be a 5-minute break before the race session then as well. It's a 30-minute qualifying race. No pit stops, no mandatory stops, no mandatory fuel, tyres, anything like that. It's just an all-out race. Coco is improving quite a bit here as well. And Grosso just ahead of him. You know, Coco is improving slightly more at the minute. Lacroix is literally possibly doing enough for provisional pole here. That's a beautiful exit. This could be provisional pole here, looking at Lacroix. Yes, he does. A 1:44.050. Wow, that's a time and a half there. Morris Booton needs to find just less than 1/10 of a second to get himself back up there. And Grosso crossing the line improves, but just not enough to pip Dominic. Dominic's in the pits, won't be going again. Rossi, Castellano won't be going. Coco won't be going. Warren, Podicott, Malashki, Wright. There's not many people out there on a lap. Lacroix out there. Teresa has gotten there in time as well. And Grosso's gotten there in time. And Grosso is improving as well at the minute. So this could be very tasty by the end of the session. Might be 1 or 2 changes. Kerr is improving slightly as well. So we're seeing everybody giving it everything. It's going to be heroes, zeros, and unfortunately Grosso got that corner wrong enough where he's dropped from being nearly 2/10 up to 1/10 down. So unfortunately him, that bit of a sideways moment, you hear the tyre screeching. He's going to have to pull out something really nice to pull back in that time. Morris is not improving, and unfortunately for Morris, a few seconds too late crossing the line. He's going to have to hope, I think, settle for P2, and I don't think anyone's actually going to improve to beat him. Lacroix, I think, can give up on it now if he wants to. Yeah, he's not going to improve now. So, Tessera, what can you do? You're the only person that can improve. Although Chris Tedder is out there improving as well. Chris, you madman. Chris improving by quite a margin, so give him socks. Nice one. So let's go back on with Tessera here. Is Tessera coming up now? Could possibly... No. Maybe. Possibly could pip Castellano or Booton. Or Kerr, sorry. I think he'll pop. Yeah, jumps up into P3. That was a nice lap from him there. Chris Tedder, what can you do? There's a possibility, if you get these last few corners right, you can jump a position. Okay, that was a better exit. You need to do slightly more though, Chris. Keep pushing it. Good lad, that's what you want to be doing. Nicely done. A trail break in there to steady it out. That's definitely going to pop Chris up a few positions from P8. Where does he finish? P6. So that is your order here for this evening. A crew with a pole time of 1:44.050. That was a great lap there. P2 then Morris Booton less than a tenth off him. And as you can see, the top 9 covered in less than a second. And if you want to count 10, 1 second covers the top 10. All the way down, then another 6 tenths, all the way down to P40. And then a few guys behind then haven't been able to get a time properly on the board. And then Garano there as well after joining in. So now we are going to have the 5-minute break between the qualifying and the race. Of course, I am not going to have a break. I'm going to just run my ACC drive ad as they are good enough for sponsoring us, and I'm going to run the Track Titan ad. It gives me about maybe 40 seconds to get a quick drink, and we'll run through the full cars to line up on the race grid order. We'll go through the full grid. Now just waiting for the server to load into the next part, and we'll get going. Not sure if there's anyone actually even out on track. Don't think there is. Anytime today, Mr. Server. And then we get into the good part. I know there is the 3-minute countdown. That could be part of it as well, but yeah, it's going to be quite interesting, of course. Just with our own events, tomorrow we do have the 6-hour endurance of Kyalami, and that's going to be very good. So you can still register for that. The race, our qualifying doesn't start till 11 a.m. and then the race starts at about 12:05 p.m. and that runs then for the 6 hours. And then of course on Wednesday we have round 1 of our season 6. Of course, in Watkins Glen, similar conditions. As we jump onto the grid now, I'm going to be more than happy to go through the full order here now. So I'll do my usual, get myself into the drone, and then let's get going. There we go. It's been a while since I had this control again. So, P1 is Mr. Lacroix, and he is a new driver with ourselves there. Is that I don't know what team that is. Stay clear. P2 is our boy Morris Booton. Of course, a legendary driver. Delighted to see him back. Then we have Tessera in P3. And in the Ferrari seems to be a very popular car here this evening, which I'm shocked at. Then we have Kerr in P4, doing a great lap there in that Ferrari. I think some of the deliveries may not have loaded up for the drivers. Then we have Giuseppe Castellano then in P5. Love Giuseppe there. He had some great racing here a few seasons ago. And yeah, a nice guy. Then our boy Chris Tedder of Amigos in the D2 Mercedes in P6. That was a great last lap from him. P7 for M4 then as well. We have then Roshi as well. After that then we... Okay. I just noticed that as well. There's 2 pits. I'm going to have to fix that really quick. Shit. Crap. Have to after seeing that there. How the hell did that come up? Yeah, I'm going to have to get that done. Why is there 2 pit stops? That is crazy. I'm going to have to restart the server thing for this one. I'll be back in a second while I get this sorted, guys. apologies about that bit of a blank space there, but at least you had music. We're back, letting everyone load in. Everything's sorted. Nothing to see here. Sure wouldn't be a season start without me doing something wrong, so that was all on me with the positions, or with the pit stops, but thankfully they are removed now. And we are back as normal. 5 minute away. Get going. Everybody's in now. So yeah, that was an interesting one. But I'll be looking through every single race now and triple checking it now, because we thought we had everything sorted, although we should have seen it in the server settings. But sure, look, we can't be perfect with everything. But I'm looking forward to the race here now. Imagine 2 stops in a 30-minute race. I was too busy going through all the cars that time, but yeah, that would have been quite the interesting look, to be fair. Wouldn't do it in a sprint race. I wish I was out there with the guys this evening racing. It's going to be absolutely great crack. It should be fun. So everybody's in. There's only, I think, 1 driver missing. Yeah, that was a lot of fun running through that. Thanks, Chris, as well, because Heather jumped in and called out all the drivers' names like the legend while I was just getting it done. So it was a nice quick turnaround. In fairness, could have been a lot worse. So I think 1 more car ready to join. And we'll get going. So now going to the grid. It's going to be an interesting one. The top 3, yeah, so it was like the top 10 was 1.015 seconds. So that's going to be super, super interesting to see how this race then plays out. Of course, they got a bigger break than they probably would have expected. But apologies again for that. So we're not running too much later than normal. Might as well press drive on that because it makes no odds. I'll go to my correct look around here now. So yeah, I do like that livery there as well. Beaches and Fairy House Ice Cream. I do like the Aston Martin. That's my first love in this game. It was the first car that I drove. So I'm delighted to see it. It's such an unloved car the last year or so. In 1.8, it was everybody was on it and loving the car. And it just seems a lot of people don't use it now. But the LFM BOP, actually just to show you is the BOP, if I can. So you'll see there the Ferrari has 2 kilos. Mercedes actually has nothing. Either does the Aston around here. And then the M4 is actually minus 3 kilos, plus 16 kilos to the McLaren. Quite interesting enough. I didn't realise that Aston Martin didn't get a BOP either. That's very interesting. So that's awesome. So the McLarens will definitely suffer a little bit. I was wondering why so many people pick Ferraris, but obviously they have to stick with that car all season. I don't know whether that's just because people prefer that car. It used to be the McLaren was the meta car at the time. So, yeah, super interesting. So 25 seconds and we should be loading then onto the grid to get going. Oh, the only thing is though, oh, should be a thing to skip the session. Bear with me here. I'm just going to open up my server here really quickly. Server. Options. Drive away. So, turn the nameplates off. Now will be the next thing. So what I can do then, I don't even know which number I press for the nameplates, but anyway. There we go. So I'm going to run through all the drivers again before we get going. So yeah, guys, apologies. So Lacroix, of course, is on pole position with Morris Boutin in P2. Then we've got Tessera in P3. Kerr is in P4. Rocci in P5. Chris Tedder in P6. P7 then for Rocci. Then we've got Labrione P8. I'm assuming another M4 or driver, looking at the colour of the car. Then we've got Coco and Dominic Geese. And it was around here then we realised my error. Then we have Ingrosso next. Then we have Andy Polycott, of course, for our Supercharged Motorsport team, as well as Nathan Warren. And then that is Chris Polycott. Then we have B. Mediowski in that gorgeous looking Aston Martin. Then we have Mr. Wright himself back into the race, and we go. Then we have another M4 driver, Gahardry, and then Anthony Ferrante topping it all out. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting this evening. That's the view on board with Lavarone at the minute. And I don't know, Lavarone must be absolutely excited about this because he's kind of in an exciting place. Because for me, starting kind of around P8, P9, you're in the center of everything. Yes, it can be a little bit on the scary side if you're going for the moves at the start because you're kind of looking ahead to try and make moves. You're also looking behind to make sure no one dives you. But I feel it's one of the most exciting places starting a race because you're in the action. You're in the center of it all. Of course, at the front, I do be more terrified. Not that I'm ever there often, because you just see a car coming and you're just thinking, that's my lead gone or that's my second position gone. Well, at the back, you're kind of just avoiding it as well. So it looks for Anthony and Gillahardry, even right there, they're really just going to be avoiding any major incidents as well. So it should be quite good. We always start with the camera view, 1 minute and 33 seconds to go. They'll have plenty of time for setups, for fuel and everything else. And yeah, what a way to start off season 1 of our Sprint Championship. But here we go. All's well that ends well. For the race, I normally would have used to... it's a thing I used to do, was pick the top 3 drivers. And I'm going to do it again. I'm going to bring it back. Every week I'm going to pick who I think is going to be in the top 3. Now, I don't necessarily go for the fastest because I have to think there will be collisions. There could be other factors in it as well. So for this week, I'm going to go... Boutin gets the win. From Lacroix. I'm going to go Kerr. Although Kerr could be on for a win. I think Kerr was quite a good driver with his lines as well. So Boutin from Lacroix from Kerr is who I think. But then Tedder in P4. Castellano will keep his P5. Where are all the people? Yeah, so there is more signed up. I don't know what the story is, but it's not one of these ones I'm going to push on. At the end of the day, it is just a 30-minute sprint. It is a feeder series for our main racing. So as they come around to warm up the tyres, let's see how it goes. I'm sure as each week goes, we'll get more and more cars on the grid. As I say, it's an unusual time for ACC. There's definitely a lot of leagues that I've been talking to are finding numbers dropping off, especially for the endurance stuff. I think a lot of people like this shorter racing, so be interesting to see how it does catch on. Hopefully it does. Of course, our first time trying something on a Friday night as well. So as Laroux is coming around here now with Morris and Tessera, we'll jump back on the helicam. Anything can happen. I will stay where the action is. As we are actually, you know what, I'll come up here because we'll get a nicer view. As we're coming to the line any second now, we're going to get that green light, and it is green. The flag shown. Tether already pulls out into the centre, making it 3 wide. Morris Booton gets a very good start, but of course Laroux has the inside line. Morris though sending it around the outside. What a move if Morris can hold this off. Chris runs very wide then behind, but Morris Booton is going to try and stick it around the outside. Laroux after coming back on the outside there, Booton on the inside. This is a drag race the whole way down the straight. This is going to be. Laroux has the drive for now. Of course, the more ideal line in a straight line though. Look, that BMW is definitely faster. Laroux though will be entitled to that line. Morris Booton has got the move done. Laroux then in P2, Tessera in P3, Tether up to P4. Then we've got Kerr in P5, Laveroni in P6, Rossi in P7, Dominic Geese up to P8, Coco up to P9, and Grosso in P10. Castellano is after having a moment with, it looks like, Mr. Roy. So Castellano goes backways. What happened, Mr. Roy? No, he must have just started in the pits. I don't know what happened to him there, but he's gone off. So this replay will be gone now in a second. We're going to jump back on now with Laroux just as it comes off the replay now, and you see right behind Morris Booton, then you have Tessera, Tether, all in a nice line there, looking back further. So Roy is going. Andy Poddicott has had a moment somewhere and has gone backwards. Malieski, can I get that contact up there? That was absolutely massive contact by the looks of it there on the car number 222, and of course he must have dropped it possibly through turn 2, I'd say. But Anthony Ferrante up now at the P14. Galhidra right behind Poddicott, Nathan Warren then up in the P11. We're going to jump back on here as Morris Booton is leading this train of drivers here at the minute. Lap 1 done, 28 minutes, 2 minutes nearly for a lap. Of course that was a standing lap. Now we're going to start seeing the proper times coming in. Morris there, look, Tether is all over the back of Tessera here. That Mercedes, an absolute beast in the straight line. Kerr also right there as well, getting that lovely draft from Tether. So Tether's gone on the defensive now. So Kerr looks like he's going to try. No, he pulls back. He knows it's not going to happen. Chris lives to fight another day there, but also Tessera lives to fight another day. Laverini then getting involved in this as well. Then it's a second gap to Rochi. Dominic East then goes off. And Grosso here must have got this slightly wrong. Yes, he did. I was wondering how he lost so many places there. But he does the right thing and he gets through in a safe manner, because you don't want to try and run through them bollards there. Your car will stop dead and you will be feeling pain. Chris Tether though, after losing a few positions, but because we're on this other replay, we're after missing that. We'll jump back on, see if there's any damage with him. He just looks like he just dropped a bit wide, but is back on there. Castellano gets by, so Laroux as well. Also Laroux must have had a weird incident there. Is he slowing down to let Tether by? Why is he down in P6? I don't understand what's going on here. Why would he have dropped off? Morris Booton gone, so he must have had a moment that I have missed. Andy Poddicott, what happened to you? Dropped it. Oh, the Ferrari there of Roy getting a bit of damage avoiding. There's nothing Andy could have done. All he done was held on the brakes. Wow, wow, wow. There is a nice bit of damage on the front of that car as well. Coco and Tether side by side coming up there. Coco does have a better drive, but Tether on the outside will have a nicer line, but Tether's going to have to give up on this one. Coco really squeezes the outside, not giving Tether much room. but they make it through, and that's the main thing there. And Grosso right behind as well. Gilhardy, who got a great start starting back from P17 and is now doing a good job there up in P12. Dominic Gee started P10 up in P7. Kerr in P3 and fighting very closely for Tessera for P2 as well. So Kerr is really pushing it on there as well. How are you doing, Trevel? Hope you're keeping well, mate. Kerr, I said he'd finish P3, and do you know what? P2 is definitely looking very, very, very good for him right now. Of course, only 5 minutes into this sprint race there. And Grosso, Castellano side by side. You can just see them right there swapping positions. Now it's going to swap back again. When Grosso on the inside is going to be just slightly ahead again. Castellano doing his best, trying to... Oh! And Grosso just lost the rear of that car. We'll have a quick replay of that. And I'm going to do this by the helicam, because I don't think there was any contact with the guys. It just looked like he lost it on the curb, which he did. And do you know what? Castellano done a great job not to have any contact there as well. So fair play to him. So Anthony Ferranti goes by him. Coco and Tedder. Tedder runs wide in through turn 1 and is now behind Coco. So he's going to have to try and go for a nice move. Nathan Warren right there as well, looking to get involved. Kerr coming down the back straight as well here, getting a great tow. But in the same machinery, it's kind of hard unless you're running a bit lower wing. So be interesting to see how that goes. What can Kerr do to put the pressure on as Rushy here with Leverone and then Lacroix right behind. We know Lacroix is super fast as well there, being the pole sitter out of position here, and will be absolutely doing everything to get back involved here with this one. Now it does look like they could be possibly M4 teammates as their liveries aren't shown, but I'm pretty sure they are both. So you would be surprised if Leverone didn't let him by, and I'm wondering, is that what's happening now as they're side by side? And he looks like he's letting the crew through. Yes, he is. So that's teamwork at its finest there. So Lacroix, sorry, Rossi, he's after letting through. Lacroix being stuck behind, so he's let Rossi through. But now is going to be a bit of a, I suppose, cork in the bottle to Lacroix here. Kerr dropping off a little bit. Tedder has dropped off a little bit as well from Coco. And Grosso in the pits after that bit of damage, but he's not going to be alone. Maliowski is looking to try to get involved. Of course, he was heavily damaged at the start of this race. Then Chris Podicott, of course, after his little trip around. Then Alistair Wright back into this as well, and I'm really egging him on to have a great season. Andy Podicott doing a very good job there in P14. Anthony Ferranti ahead of him. So Anthony Ferranti had a great start. P18 up to P13. And Fabio Galhidri just ahead of him as well. He was P17. And then Giuseppe Castellano is behind Nathan Warren. And now look at this, just ahead, Tedder, side by side with Coco. But Tedder has the inside line here. Coco's going to have to give this one up, and Tedder gets his position back. Tedder back up into P8 for now. And this is great news for Dominic East. The harder they fight, the more of a gap that he gets. As you see there, he's nearly 3 seconds clear now of Chris Tedder. LaRue is still stuck behind Leverone. Rocci slowly pulling away, not by a massive amount at all. So a bit of team play going on here. Kerr is coming back up now, so Graham is doing his best with Tessera just ahead of him there. Morris Booton though isn't majorly far off to 1.6, 1.7 seconds. Now there is a back marker in the way, so this might help him for a minute, but that back marker looks like it is Tessera's teammate. Now maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's just the base livery on that Ferrari. Back on Coco, starting to drop off a bit now from Tedder. Tedder now is about 0.7 of a second ahead and slowly pulling away, which is what we're expecting now. Look at this here. Half a second, so that's the back marker teammate of Tessera there, and eventually has to let Kerr by. So for Kerr now, the race is back on, but also Kerr got a lovely drive out there, because he would have got the slipstream from the teammate, and now is the slipstream here of Tessera. Tessera though needs to leave room. He's after not leaving enough room there, and that will definitely be looked at by the stewards afterwards there, but Kerr somehow keeps that going. Tessera though shut the door way too late under braking, and yeah, that was just very, very, very dodge. Now we have Rossi and Lavaroni in the mix here with Kerr after that happening there, but Kerr somehow holds on to his P3 for now, and he does have then the M4 Squadra Corse of Rossi, Lavarone, and then you even have the P2 of Florian Larue for AF Corsa. Then further back, while this is all going on, the little train, Coco is still kind of sticking around the 0.8 seconds off to Chris Tedder, so that's getting quite good. Then Polycott's catching up with Anthony Ferrante here at quite a rate of knots here, so I would say within the next corner or two that move should be done. Although Anthony should try and put up a little bit of a fight if you can and get himself set up. At the minute though, Polycott though is quite considerably faster. He's after pulling in quite a bit of time with him in such a short space of time, so I'd be quite confident in saying that move is going to happen there. You see Polycott just kind of sitting and waiting for that move, and his other part of the family there, Chris, is sitting right behind Alistair Wright by about half a second as well, so a lot going on here at the minute. Back up though for this fight for P3. The fastest lap is from Kerr. It's a 1:44.762 in the race pace. So this is interesting. Does Rossi and Lavaroni swap back positions now, or they're just going to sit where they are? Kerr is kind of starting to pull away a bit again now, and he's about 2.4 seconds off Tessera. So Tessera here as well, moving the braking. I'm sure he'll be kind of reconsidering that next time round. Maurice Boutin doing a great job leading this essentially since about turn 1, 2, 3, and hasn't looked back, and has been able to kind of focus as Andy Polycott has got by Anthony Ferrante while we're watching the cars. Now Nathan Warren is starting to catch Coco here now. Coco has dropped now to 1.6 seconds off Chris Tedder. So Chris Tedder has been able to pull a gap now in his Mercedes, and Chris is actually pulling in Dominic Keese. He's now only 1.3 seconds away, 1.2, 1.1. He's catching Dominic Keese at a rate of knots there, as you see in that picture behind you. Chris starting to find his rhythm again. But he has just over half the race, not just to find his rhythm, but to try and get by. Back on here, Rossi has pulled back up to Kerr, although Kerr is pulling in that gap to Tessera as well. LaRue there is kind of, Lacroix is just stuck now in P6. I don't know whether they're carrying any damage. Possibly could be. Oh, Tedder is after having a moment. And the rear of the car went. Did he keep out of the wall? He did. Oh, do you know what? That was showboating to the ground, Chris. Nicely done, though. That was a good save. Actually, probably lost less time doing what he done there than if he was just to hold the brakes and hope that no one hits him. So that's the experience of a driver doing the right thing at the right time. So fair play to Chris. On with Giuseppe Castellano has caught up to Nathan Warren. So while Nathan's catching up to Coco, Castellano is catching up to him. Oh, Castellano runs massively wide there. Okay. What's going on here now? So yeah, we're going through. So Dominic Keese is in P7, but now it's quite a lonely P7 with Giuseppe Castellano all over the back. But look at this, Polycott and Wright still having their battle, so Wright's kind of getting himself in the rhythm as well and is staying ahead for now. Maurice Boutin is after extending his lead now to 4.1 seconds, you see in the background. It's not really a massive amount of road, but it's just enough where you can kind of relax a little bit, especially in a sprint knowing it's only 15 more minutes. So Tessera here is in P2, Kerr P3, then Rossi, Lavrione and Lavracu right there also. Then it's a little bit of a gap down to Dominic Geese. And then Coco, oh, Nathan Warren and Castellano side by side. Castellano has got the drive there. So can Nathan come back at him though? That 16 kg is quite a lot here in the Macca. Although Nathan, given the flasher, there might have been a little bit of argy-bargy there. Nathan not happy at all. Let me see, did we catch Anton there? That would be very, very interesting. Looking through there. What I need to do as well, I need to open one thing up. So as we're on with Nathan, we're actually going to change that on now with Rossi and Kerr. So they are getting quite close with each other, so you kind of wonder, will they just let the other go back by, or what will happen there? It'll be quite interesting to see. Will they or won't they? I don't think anything's going to happen there with that one. I'm going to go with Castellano and Coco, because Castellano's after catching him in at a right knots here and going for the move. So Castellano should be able to pull this one off. Coco not giving up though. Nathan Warren right there as well. Castellano seems just to be absolutely flying out there as Giuseppe side by side. So Giuseppe's ahead, but Coco's the inside line, but Coco's got out of it. So Giuseppe's through. So that looks like Coco just kind of knew what was happening and said, you know what, I'm not getting involved with this one here today. Let's move on. But, let's move all this stuff out of the way. But, yeah, absolutely crazy stuff. So 12 minutes left to go, just well, it was under 13 minutes. Putin 4.6 seconds clear. Polycott and Wright are still having it. What I like to see though, Benedict is keeping it going and is getting the points in. He's got literally just under 13 minutes to go, and he's only one lap down. No, he was just over 2 laps. So Grosso then is a lap down between Dominic Geese, that looks like, and Lacroix. Then Chris Tedder's down in P16 while I was looking at other bits. Chris has had another moment, unfortunately, so it's gone from bad to worse for Chris Tedder here today. These things unfortunately happen. Then we have Chris Polycott next in P15. He is about 2.2 seconds off Alistair Wright, who's been having a good race. Fair play to Alistair, although it's a bit of a lonely one now in terms of ahead of him. Anthony Franti up in the P13, a phenomenal race from him so far. Hats off to Anthony, because anyone who knows him knows there was a time he started and he was literally lapped about 5 times a race, and I'm sure he'd admit it himself, while now he's just flying it. So very well done to him. Then we have Andy Polycott next in P12, with then Fabio next, but then Nathan Warren is starting to try and catch in with Coco again. So Nathan is giving it everything, but Giuseppe Castellano with Coco there. Giuseppe Castellano is starting to pull away from them. So Giuseppe's trying to hunt down Dominic Geese now, and Giuseppe is on the back of Dominic. Now Dominic in the heavier McLaren here, as of course with the LF and BOP, they are unfortunately heavily penalised here. So Dominic Geese does have a bit of work in his hands, unfortunately for Florian Lacroix. Yeah, it's just started off good, but unfortunately he has dropped it now off that. I think maybe he's kind of stuck in that kind of moment Then we have Clement Lavarone next with Roshi. Then just behind with Kerr. Of course, Tessera will be looked at as well for what happened with Kerr, I'm sure, once it's reported. And then Tessera in P2. And then the Morris Bhutan in P1. But I'm going to jump on to this one. You've got Castellano, Coco, and Nathan Warren all in a row. Who gets what? Or who finishes where? That'll be the all-important. So coming down, so it looks like the McLaren still is able to actually hold in a bit of pace, which is quite interesting. I'm actually shocked at that one there, because with that 16 kilo, the Ferraris just seem to be absolutely flying it there. So yeah, that's interesting to see that he is actually able to keep up with him. So I'll be keeping an eye on that one. But looking then around the rest of the field at the minute there, Roshi and Kerr now are right on it. So Roshi is doing what they can. Kerr, obviously, I think has been doing a great race. It could have been a little bit further up, obviously, just without that bit of contact. Obviously not, in my opinion, his fault, but these things happen. But let's see, can he keep him behind now, because it is getting quite tight. 0.2 of a second, that's not what you want when you're this close in the race. Well, that's going on. Let me see elsewhere. Nathan Moore and Coco is a little bit closer. Tether is off. Bus top chicane sent him for a flight. Yeah, unfortunately. Dang, Chris. Looks like Chris has finally given up on this one. I'm sure we'll see a comment now in a minute. Chris, let us know what's going on. Was it the setup? What was it? Because in fairness, it looked like for a while you were having good pace. The tyres just being out of it, or what's going on? Too aggressive in setup, yeah. Just exactly what I thought. That's unlucky, mate. Then again, you signed up very, very late in the day as well, so, you know, you shouldn't be... I know, I'm not even going to say you shouldn't be too hard on yourself. I know you're not going to be too hard on yourself. That's not how you roll. But, yeah, Chris, that was just very, very, very unlucky. But you live and learn. Next race, at least, it'll still be a bit of a... It'll still be something there for you to look at, you know. But this one here is just an interesting battle. But now LaRue and Lavarione are looking to get involved. But Castellano is on Dominic East now. Much faster than I was expecting, to be fair. So Dominic East is now definitely under pressure. There's no two ways about it. So can Dominic East holding behind Chris? What do you reckon? The McLaren seems to be struggling here a little bit today, if we're honest. Just picking up things every time we race. Yeah, that's fair enough. That's very fair. Castellano, though, looking to go. Dominic's going on the defensive. Castellano has a nice line. Dominic East, though, entitled to where he is. Giving Castellano an awful lot of room as well. And that's what I love about Dominic East. He is a fast driver, but he races so fair. And Chris will be loving it right now because, of course... Oh, no, he won't be loving that. Oh, no. I would say more so Dominic just didn't realise he wasn't fully ahead. Because he would have having to leave a little bit of room there, so that's unlucky for Dominic. And that's a very rare mistake you'd see for him. Oh, that is so unlucky. But it is such a good track to defend on. I know that very well myself from Amigos on Monday night. Yeah, he just misjudged that because Dominic East would never do that unintentionally. And that was just a pure and utter moment where he thought he was just enough ahead. And we've all been there, Chris. We've all had those little moments where you've had a touch like that and you're thinking, do you know what? Or sorry, when you think you're just ahead, but there's just that tiny, tiny, tiny bit of a bumper there. He was unlucky. Very, very unlucky there. And Giuseppe Castellano wasn't really affected by that, luckily, as well. So, yeah, that's just unlucky. But other than that, now at the minute it's quite spread out now. Coming into the last 5 minutes, Polycott is about 3.1 seconds off P11. Looks like Dominic Geese still going. We've lost another driver, but I can't see who it is, Chris. Then we've got Lauru, who was, of course, Florian, the pole sitter, looking now to try and at least claw back himself into P5, which would be nice for him. Bombs away. It's a very Rexy-esque looking livery that for Florian. Just looking there to Teton that as well. It's a nice colour that. 0.2 of a second, he's putting in the work. Lavrione is under pressure. The Italian man versus the French man. Of course, for M4 Squadra Corsa Racing. Just enough at the minute. I don't know whether it's going to be enough long term. Nathan Moran is in P9, 1.2 seconds off Coco. I don't think he's going to be able to make an impression now within pretty much 2 to 3 laps. It's going to be a lot to ask, trying to get over a second in that time and getting by as well. It's one thing catching a driver, as Chris rightly said in the chat. It's another thing getting by, and that's what I had a great race in the Amigos SRO race the other day with Nathan. Unfortunately, I did have my own error hitting the marbles, but I was defending a car like an absolute lion, and I kept him behind. So, you know, I'd done the right thing. Then my teammate got in and recovered what we could for the race. It was great fun. And of course, the last race in the Amigos SRO series is this Monday coming as well, which we're really looking forward to. And it's in Spa as well, so what a track. And look at the move is on, but unfortunately too late for him. He's just going to have to get out of that there, and he's actually after losing a bit of time with that. So he probably should have just dipped off the throttle maybe and just stuck behind him and kept the pressure on. He's after dropping off now to about a second, so realistically, where's Morris now? Realistically, there's probably 2 laps left. No, maybe not 2 laps left. Maybe 1 lap after this. Let's see what we're doing. 144. No, there will be 2 more laps. Yeah. So Nathan Moran and Coco. What happened here? Let's go back. 30 seconds, because I didn't see that while we were watching. Did he just kill himself in the bus stop? Did he do what Tether done? Yep. And that's happened to me as well in a race. I actually think it was Amigos a few seasons ago when I raced there. And that, just the curbs there, you can't be too greedy. You can be a little indulgent with it, should I say, but if you try to be too greedy, it will just spit you out of it. And unfortunately there, he's after feeling that one there as we go back on with the live racing. He's now down in P9 with Nathan in PA. Florian, though, is after catching back up to Laverone, so they have 2 more laps. This is interesting. Now Polycott's after catching right up to the back as well of Fabio as well. So there still is racing going into these last few laps. And Malowski is actually after getting himself out of last position into P15. So an awful lot of movement still happening in this race. Morris Booton still leading from Tesla, from Rossi. Kerr then in P4. Kerr had lost out on the position there, but Kerr for me has been driving a great race. Very unlucky with his incident with Tesla. But Andy Polycott now has 1 more lap to get the move in, because this man here is on second last lap actually, so maybe 2 more laps. Will he make it around 59 seconds? He should do. Yeah, so there's one more lap after this. So back on with Lacroix. I want to go on with Lacroix now because look at this here. 0.2 of a second. He has a bit of a toe, but in the same cars, that toe just doesn't seem to be as strong, I've noticed here this evening. He just has to kind of let off and go with it. So Morris Booton now coming around. He should get one more lap in, runs nice and wide. Is he slowing down? No, he's not. He's going for one more lap. So this is it. There's one more lap to go. He's keeping the battling going because look at this. LaRue is on the back of Laveroni. So thank you, Morris Booton, letting us have one more lap. Oh, a touch against the wall there. Lacrudo and Laveroni absolutely lit, coming down to T1 for the last time for the both of these. Who gets the better exit here? It's all about the exit now because you can lose a few tenths of a second to another car if you get this exit wrong. And I have a feeling LaRue here just has the slight better exit. I think coming onto this straight, he's going to be pushing him. He is. This is LaRue's chance to get back in, get that. Oh, no, 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 no. That is mad racing there. They are giving it literally everything, and sideways for LaRue somehow keeps that car going. Hits the curb though, keeps it going. LaRue is absolutely giving it literally everything. Polycott up the inside, but optimistic. Needs to get a good exit though. LaRue though is still going, but I'm going to jump on to this guy here. Since turn 3 has been in the lead of this race and not done a thing wrong. He's been out for about 3 months or so after a shoulder operation, and it's his first proper race back. And Morris Booton, the absolute legend himself, the exact same fastest lap time as Kerr, both of them are 1:44.762, and Morris Booton 5 seconds clear, or 5.5 seconds nearly, of Tezera. Absolutely, what a way to come back into sim racing after having months out with an injury. We're getting his first win in the Supercharged Motorsports Friday Sprint Series. Tezera then comes home in P2. Then you've got Rocci in P3, Kerr in P4, Laveroni then coming home in P5, just ahead of LaRue, all the way to the line. These guys are giving it. Castellano just behind them there. Then we have our own Nathan Warren for Supercharged Motorsport as well, with his teammate Morris Booton winning the race. Nathan Warren in P2. Then Coco tipping the wall comes around though for P9. Then Dominic East, the absolute legend for the Amigos racing team, very, very, very unlucky with that bit of a incident with Castellano there. Definitely wasn't done intentionally, and he comes home in P10. Then we have Fabio Gilheldry in P11. Andy Polycott looking for a way by now. Anthony Ferrante looking to get involved here as well. Look at this Polycott to the inside. I have a feeling, is it under feud for Gilheldry? Oh no, he's getting it. He's getting it. Anthony Ferrante all the way fighting to the line. You've got Andy Polycott, Gilheldry and Ferrante all in a row there. Brilliant stuff there. Absolutely epic. Then we have Alistair Wright next. And one or two have already left the server after the race. But we'll stay on with Alistair Wright as he comes around there and gets himself P13 there as well. A little bit of a tip to the wall. Guys, what a night of racing that has been. Absolutely brilliant. Apologies for the error to the drivers again at the start of the race there with the pit stops. That will not be an issue going forward. That was an oversight for myself. But yeah, absolutely brilliant racing, guys. I'm so happy that we decided to go ahead with this, and that's thanks to the drivers. We put out surveys every now and then just to get information of what the drivers want to have, and that's absolutely been brilliant. Yeah, absolutely great stuff. We'll look forward to doing the stewarding afterwards. We'll get that done fairly quickly, and the results will be up online shortly. Have a great evening. We will be live possibly tomorrow for the endurance, depending on numbers. We will be back then next Wednesdays for season 6 of our Wednesday season. Get signed up today if you haven't already, and we'll see you next Friday for round 2 of our sprint series. Until then, guys, have a great evening. Thanks so much for your patience with the stream tonight and the patience with the drivers, and we'll see you for the next one.